Hi, welcome to LaMotta's Cooking with Chef Carmelo. I am Chef Carmelo, owner of LaMotta's Italian Restaurant. And this week in the Test Kitchen, we're going to feature our Friday and Saturday night Red Snapper special that we're featuring this week. We use locally caught Red Snapper from our local waters that we fillet ourselves. We leave the skin on so it gets a nice texture when you cook it. And it's a nice piece of red lobster that you get with your meal. Now with everything, any type of fish meat that you have, you always want to season it. So you be sure you put a little bit of salt on it, a little bit of pepper on top of it, or you can put Cajun spice, black pepper, whatever you like to put on it. Here, we like to sit there and dip it in flour. This is our high gluten flour that we have, lightly battered, and then you shake the rest of it off. You can see that it has all the texture on it and everything. Now here we have our pan already preheated. I like to use an extra virgin olive oil. It gives it a nuttier taste to it. So you bring the temperature up on the pan and let it heat. You always want to start with skin down on any fish. So you just let it cook and let it do its own thing. A lot of people like to mess around with it, touch it, flip it, you know, little bada bing, little bada boom. Leave it alone. Let it do its own thing. That's the only way it's going to come out the right way. You can see it right now with the skin on, it's flaking off a little bit. And that's the fish just do its own cooking. And you always want to use a non-stick pan if you have one. I had to use non-stick pans, but I like to add a little olive oil. The olive oil is what's going to give it the extra flavor to it. Again, you just let it sit there and simmer, do its own thing, let it cook, let the fish do whatever it needs to be done. So next you take the fish out, let the fish sit, so that it's cooked. Now we're going to add our white black mushrooms, capers. Now with capers, we rinse ours. Capers are soaked in brine and salt. And if you don't rinse them, it has a lot of salt in it, it'll ruin your dish. So you always want to rinse them and you add your own seasoning to it. Last, we take Italian artichokes and we hand cut them in quarters. Throw that in there. Let it cook all together, a little flip. You can see that the mushrooms are getting the flavor of the fish and everything. Now you do a little pinch of salt, a little pinch of pepper on there, and just let it simmer by itself, let it cook. Now we're going to do a little flambe here. A little white wine is all you need. Get it with a little bit of liquid margarine or butter, whatever you like. That's just to get the flavor going. And then to make a little bit more juice, because I like to have extra juice, either you use a chicken stock or a fish stock. If you don't have a fish stock, you can use a little bit of a chicken stock to it. And then what I like to do at the end is take fresh basil and you just break it up with your hands and you put it in there, because what that does, it releases the oils of the basil. People are like, oh, chicken piccata with basil. It's a Sicilian thing. We like to add basil to everything. So you just stir it up and just let it do its own cooking and simmering. Then we'll take the fish and add the fish right back in there. Put the lid on and we'll let it simmer for about 5 or 10 minutes. Ready? So here with our fish, we're going to pair, a little angel hair, a little vermicelli, whatever you want to call it. Any type of pasta goes good with fish. So you want to do a little twirl on there so that it all covers the plate. You don't want a lot of pasta on this dish. You put a nice fish, covers a nice plate. Here we go with the finishing dish. Whatever the juice is left at the bottom, you put it on top. A little fresh basil, a little bada bing, bada boom, here it is. Your Red Snapper Piccata, only at LaMotta's Italian restaurant and pizzeria. But we bring you fresh quality all the time.